Today's topic is a video expansion on one of my most popular blog posts on my site potatoartstudios.com featuring pencil sharpeners for fragile pencils. If you work with charcoal pencils, colored pencils, or pastel pencils, chances are you've experienced the frustration of getting a nice sharp point. My all-time favorite sharpener since I purchased it in 2018 has been the mobius&ruppert brass sharpener. Specifically, the model is number 602, which is a double-hole grenade brass sharpener. I'll have an Amazon affiliate link to this model in the description box and related items. As with all recommendations, there will be pros and cons to everything. I'll have timestamps for sections if you want to skip ahead or see the sharpener in action. As a disclaimer, I have not tried every pencil sharpener. Here are just a few of the sharpeners I do own, and I still prefer my mobius&ruppert model over all of them. If you'd like to share a sharpener you enjoy, feel free to post the brand and model in the comments to help our art community. The biggest reason why I have used this as my go-to sharpener for so many years is that the blades are easy to replace, and replacement blades can be purchased in 10 packs for less than $1 per blade. The design of all the sharpeners in the mobius&ruppert line are very simple, which makes it durable and easy to clean. The body is made out of solid brass, and there's a tempered steel blade, and a small Phillips screw that holds the blade in place. I can throw this sharpener in my backpack or pencil case and not have to worry. Every time I travel and do an art demo, I pack this sharpener with me. It doesn't matter how cheap or expensive a sharpener is because all blades will dull over time with use. And if you can't source replacement blades, the sharpener will end up in the trash. I personally use the Husky branded multi-tool that you can pick up in any hardware store. Similar tools will be labeled as precision Phillips screwdrivers. A standard mini Phillips from an eyeglass repair kit is too small and may damage the screw head. I personally like the 602 model because of the different brands of pencils I regularly use. The standard hole sharpens pencils up to 8 mm and the larger hole sharpens up to 11 mm with a slightly wider taper. The appealing simple design of the sharpener also has its downsides. Unlike some other models that come with a container to catch the wood shavings, the line of brass sharpeners from mobius&ruppert does not. If you like to travel and sketch on the go, you may need to pack a zip-top bag or a container to contain your shavings. There's also the aspect of ergonomics. Although brass sharpeners have a knurled or textured grip machined into the sides to prevent slipping, it would be difficult for an artist with arthritis, carpal tunnel, or similar hand mobility issues, which would impact grip strength. Changing the blade can also be a challenge. The screw which holds the blade in place is very small. It's just slightly larger than the hardware used for eyeglasses. You would need to have good lighting and a level surface to make sure that your tiny screws do not fall off the table. And the last downside, which is probably the biggest one, is the availability of the replacement blades. I live in the US and I have never seen the replacement blades in stock at an art store. I purchase blades from Amazon, but they are also sold in online stationery stores. The price ranges a little, but it usually comes out to $7 to $10 per box of 10. And out of habit, I always keep at least a handful of spares at all times because it can take 1 to 2 weeks for replacement blades to arrive. To show that this pencil sharpener does all that I've hyped it up to be, I replaced the blades with fresh new ones, and I'll sharpen all of the pastel pencil brands I own, plus a colored pencil and charcoal pencil. All sharpenings will be done in real time. If you'd like to skip ahead, jump to this timestamp. Each pencil will be labeled with the type, brand, and the size of the outer diameter wood casing and inner diameter core, so you can compare it to your own pencils. I talk up the sharpener a lot because it works well and quickly. Of the standard diameter brands, I would say Caran d'Ache is probably the most difficult to sharpen because the core is wider and softer than most other pastel pencils. I know I've spoken very highly of the sharpener, but you will occasionally experience a pencil break. The rate of a fragile pencil shattering will never be zero, but it's far less with the mobius&ruppert than what I've experienced with many other sharpeners, like the ones I showed at the beginning of the video. For larger pencils, such as the koh-i-noor, I'll flip to the opposite side and use the 11mm hole. Because of the larger diameter, the sharpened tip is wider. For some, this might be a negative because this means more frequent sharpening. However, with every sharpener I currently own, Conti's pencils have a very high rate of breakage, and I would personally rather deal with more frequent sharpening any day over dealing with a completely shattered pencil. If you don't own pencils that are larger than the standard 8mm, I would still recommend the double hole grenade model over the other three brass versions because the design prevents the sharpener from rolling, and I feel that it's easier to hold than the wedge shapes. Last up are a charcoal pencil from Generals and a Prismacolor color pencil, which is a soft wax-based pencil. In general, I would say that even the softest of color pencils don't suffer nearly the same issues with breakage as charcoal and pastel pencils. For reference, I've used Faber-Castell Polychromos, Caran d'Ache Luminance, Derwent Drawing, and Derwent Lightfast. And I found that there are many more manual and hand crank options that are compatible with colored pencils. But if you're looking for a versatile sharpener that can handle basically anything you throw at it, my recommendation still stands by mobius&ruppert. The retail price of a double hole grenade sharpener is $9.50 USD. The item does not come with replacement blades or tools. The other brass sharpeners in this line are priced between $4 and $8 US. I've been ordering replacement blades from Amazon since 2020, and I'll leave the link to it in the description box. Amazon's prices do fluctuate, but the average price has been $8 or $9 for the past few years for a box of 10. This sharpener also makes for a great gift for any artist. For under $10, you can get the sharpener, and for under $20, you can include the sharpener and a box of blades. And if you want to be a real MVP friend, you can also include the small precision Phillips screwdriver that I mentioned earlier. If you decide to purchase the sharpener and it becomes your go-to as it has been mine, let me give you an idea of what you can expect out of the wear time of your blades and screws. Since 2018, I've used a total of 42 blades, which comes out to about 9 blades per year. For the types of art that I make, I don't often need a super fine point, but I regularly will reach for my sharpener 1 to 2 dozen times a day. Of course, your mileage will vary. If you're an avid artist or an art student drawing for hours each day, you might find yourself replacing the blades more often than once a month. If you draw occasionally on the weekends, you may only need to replace your blade quarterly or semi-annually. The screw that holds down the blade will need to be replaced over time as it's made out of a softer metal. I've accidentally stripped or damaged the screw by turning the screwdriver too tightly or using a screwdriver that was either too small or too large. Usually once a year I'll need to replace the screw. For replacement screws, I've contacted their customer service and they sent me a pack of 4 screws from Germany at no cost. I do want to mention that this was back in 2021, so I can't verify that they still do this, but you can always email them if you find yourself needing replacement items. However, an alternative and I think faster way to source screws rather than getting them all the way from Germany is to purchase a cheaper mobius&ruppert sharpener I've purchased the triple hole magnesium sharpener, which comes with 3 screws and costs only $4.25, which comes out to $1.42 per screw. With their outstanding customer service and quality products, I have no problem buying a cheaper sharpener every few years to cannibalize the parts to keep my main pencil sharpener in operation. If a pencil breaks in the sharpener, you simply need to grab a paper clip or similar sized object to push the broken tip from the back side. As far as concerns with corrosion or discoloration, I have not experienced any signs of that with regular use. Brass does not contain iron, so it should not rust. There are a few dents from accidental drops, but the functionality has been the same since I first bought it nearly 5 years ago. My favorite model, the 602, is just one of the 4 models offered in the mobius&ruppert brass line. The replacement blade for the 602 is compatible with every other model except the single-hole grenade model, which is number 604. This uses a slightly narrower blade. When ordering replacement blades, be very careful to read the dimensions and the compatible sharpener models. The blades are stamped differently, so you can quickly tell them apart. But if you find yourself in a situation where the replacement blades are not stamped, and this has happened to me a few times, you'll need to get a ruler and measure the blade width. I like to keep the new replacement blades in their handy container. On the back side, I made a note if it's for the 602 or 604 model because I own both. I honestly loved the sharpener so much that I purchased a second one just to keep in my art travel bag and to have one at my home studio. If you were to ask a group of artists what brands of supplies they like, chances you'll get many different answers. However, I don't think many artists think of the long-term costs of the tools they use. I believe the minimal maintenance and time savings associated with the mobius&ruppert make it the clear-cut winner among the pencil sharpeners available on the market. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. All the products I mentioned, along with the blog post with more images, will be linked in the description box. Leave a comment with your favorite sharpener, or let us know if you decided to pick up the mobius&ruppert to try it out for yourself. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.